So now if this doesn't air properly, we'll at least be able to put it up on YouTube properly. So I don't know what's up with my internet right now.
Yeah, it's pretty jacked.
I have reset my modem. This is very frustrating.
I don't understand computer things.
This is very frustrating. I don't know why I keep losing fucking speed. Why is my internet so unstable? Damn Spectrum. This is, oh shit, and you know what? We're not on butt either. Ah, crap. All right, okay, well, this sucks.
Yeah? Is that gonna, like,
I mean...
Should you go on butt?
I don't know how good that's gonna do either if the internet's this unstable. Oh, it's starting to come back. Nope, and then dropped again. Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back. All right, we might be okay.
This is stressful.
This is very stressful. Fuck you, Spectrum. Okay, it looks like we're stabling out.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Stay with us, guys.
Oh, nope, it's dropping again.
Shit.
Oh, it's back up. And it's dropping again. Spectrum, fuck you.
Do you think Spectrum's watching?
No, they can't because we're not on. We're half on.
Oh, man. So how shall we proceed?
Just go as normal and...
Go as normal and hope for the best.
Okay, so while we're kind of stabling out here, this is the plan. We hit record, which I don't normally record the video. So I hit record. So no matter what happens for the rest of the show, we're going to be able to put this on YouTube almost properly. Almost. So like the first 20 minutes, maybe not so much, but the rest of the show will be fine later on YouTube.
The interview with Devin Mullen will be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine, and the music will be fine, and yeah, this is getting ridiculous with this internet connection. That's twice today.
Twice today?
The internet went out earlier, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting here, and I'm finishing up a voiceover, and I'm about to deliver it, and I'm watching a YouTube video, and the YouTube video stops, and I notice I got no internet. And I go, and I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, now I got to get up and go reset the modem and shit. And I'm like, did I pay my fucking cable bill? Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah.
And then I hear Jasmine in the bathroom like, Alexa, do this. Alexa, do that. Alexa, do this. Alexa, do that. And you know, just... yeah, it didn't, it wasn't doing anything. And I'm just sitting here like, I know why it's not working.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Are we stabilizing? I think we're stabilizing. Okay, I don't know. I am mad at my internet provider right now.
Are you going to write a tweet?
No, because what they're going to do in the tweet is, oh, we'll look into it, and then they won't do anything.
Yeah.
That's all they ever do. They never actually do anything to help. They're just like, oh, okay, we're here to help, and then, you know, they're just as effective at customer service as FedEx.
Nice.
So, you know, it is what it is.
It is indeed.
So,
yeah. So,
yeah. Hopefully this stays stable because now it seems to have stabled out. Hopefully. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
I'm back on a little cookie kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I even did a cookie inventory this morning.
Wow.
I used my spreadsheet and everything.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm making Valentine's Day cookies. I think I'm going to do the buy one, get one half off per dozen sale. Yeah. I'm going to do that. You guys heard it here first.
Laura wants me to get rid of my computer that was built last year and get one that was built 20 years ago. She thinks that'll solve the problem. Sure it will, Laura. Sure. That'll fix the problem.
It makes sense.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because fixing my top-of-the-line gaming computer is going to do anything about my internet provider being terrible. And I can't switch internet providers because there's not another one.
No.
Got to be able to, like, sue them for that, right? I mean, that's got to be a monopoly.
I think someone's tried before.
There's got to be, like, some legal standard here where they can't provide this shitty of a service if they're the only provider in town.
Yeah.
We're still not on YouTube, apparently,
not on
Laura
YouTube.
says. I don't know.
But my mom was watching.
She was. I don't know if she still is. All right, I guess
I guess we have to check our phones.
Good troubleshoot during the show. This is fun.
Excellent content.
I got a text from Dan Twist. He said, "Hi, friends."
Aw.
All right, let's see. I didn't click on anything. Why is that showing me a video?
Hey, we're not streaming, says Jasmine.
Okay, well, then I don't know what to tell you. Here she comes to tell us that we're not streaming, which we are apparently not. So, no, it stopped at 17 minutes. It stopped when it got to 0. We are streaming, though. I think. No, we're not. Okay, we're not. I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. We're broadcasting. We're not
recording.
Whether or not we're on YouTube or not, I don't care. Because we're recording.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on YouTube later. So
this is killer content. Thank you for sticking with us, guys.
I don't even, there's no way to get this onto YouTube, apparently, without, stopping everything and going back. So.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So we're not on YouTube.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Whatever.
We'll be on YouTube, though, right?
We will be on YouTube later. Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Anyway.
Whoever can hear us say that.
Whoever can hear us. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway. All right.
All right. Well, do you want to go into the interview early?
No.
No? Why?
No. Because I'm gonna attempt to tell people to go on Twitch and watch us if they're not able to watch us on Facebook Live and all that stuff. Okay. We're dropping frames again. This is fucking bullshit, Spectrum. And click there. And now we're stabling out again. This is ridiculous.
I'm stressing out over this now.
Okay, well, apparently we're still on Facebook.
Okay. Hi, Facebook people.
So we're still on Facebook. Here, we're going to create a post. Having internet troubles. Thanks. Put that in parentheses. Thanks, Spectrum.
Nice.
So we're off YouTube. Please try Facebook Live or Twitch. There.
What else can we do?
We're at 0, so we're not streaming anything right this second.
Okay.
This is really irritating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell to do. What more can I do than sit here and say I don't know what to do? We are literally not sending any data out.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't fucking know. I don't know. What the fuck? Spectrum.
What the fuck?
Spectrum, your internet service sucks. Your cable service sucks too. But your internet service right now is like the worst thing on the planet. I'm paying for 10 megabytes per second. I'm getting 28 kilobytes. Yeah, this is stupid. This is terrible. I don't fucking know. Okay, well, whatever. We'll just roll, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you know what was released today?
What was released today?
My On the Cinder karaoke video was released today.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You can find that on the Cinder Facebook page and pretty much anywhere else because they've posted it everywhere.
Yes. It was super fun. And we, collectively, everybody who did the karaoke, we raised it was $1,000 for charity, for Jericho Road Jericho Road Health. I don't know.
I'm not pulling anything up on the internet right now. We're running slow enough.
That's true. So I sang Mbop by Hanson, and if you've known me my whole life, I don't know, maybe one, other than my mom, probably nobody. You know that Hanson means like everything to me as far as getting me to want to be involved in music. And so to get to sing Mbop was really special to me. And it was fun.
You guys can't see this, but she's repeatedly kicking me right now.
Oh my God, I am.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry. Mom, I was doing that thing that that Dad did where he like jiggled his leg. Yeah, I'm doing that because the internet has me stressed out.
I'll say I don't think Mom can see this. We're not on YouTube.
I know.
We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. As far as I know, I don't. I mean, whatever. People are following the stream on Facebook,
that's good
so
news.
liking the stream. So I guess we're on Facebook.
Okay, that's good news.
Hopefully this stays. Nope, it's dropping again. As soon as I go to say that I hope it stays stable, it drops.
Well, if you guys are getting a Twitch signal or a Facebook signal, jump in our chat. Let us know.
Yes.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah. This is making me long for the days where we didn't do the where we didn't do video and didn't have to
Right.
worry about this. Of course, we'd still have to worry about if it was going to all WNY, which it's not because I forgot to click the button.
Right. We can see and hear you, says Mama Bert.
All right, that's good.
Thank you.
So people can see and hear us. Hopefully, they'll be
Okay.
able to continue to see and hear us.
Yeah.
We're having some major issues thanks to Spectrum today.
Yeah.
Hi, Spectrum. Hope you
All
guys
right.
are.
Devin
hope you
says
guys are
we're
well.
good. Good news. Good news.
Some brief stops in the video, but audio is consistent. That's good.
Okay. Well, the
That's
audio is
something.
really important.
Yeah. We're recording, so hopefully we'll be able to post to YouTube like uninterrupted video after the show, and it would be basically like part 2 of this episode, I guess,
Yeah.
instead of I think it would much more easily fly as part 2 of this episode instead of trying to download the other half of it and put it all together.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, oh, I'm caught up in the chat now. We can move on.
Okay. So, I wish I could stop and reset everything, but I did that earlier and it didn't help. So what the hell am I going to do that for?
Right.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh my God, I turned the Xbox on.
Okay, so turn it off.
I don't know how.
The same way you turned it on.
I did it with my elbow or something.
Push the button.
Is that it?
Yes.
Is it good?
No. There.
I
now
don't do technology. Thank my mother.
Luckily, I have the camera hooked up to the other input device instead of where the Xbox is hooked up, because then they'd be watching the Xbox instead of us. Or at least theoretically, if they were able to watch us, they'd be
Right,
watching the
true.
Xbox instead of us. This is ridiculous.
I'm so sorry.
It's not even. Do you work for Spectrum? Why are you apologizing?
No, but I do keep
You
dropping
you
things.
threw a fidget spinner at my foot. This is fucking bullshit right here. Total fucking bullshit. Somebody in the neighborhood heard me making fun of the Bills and they came and pulled the plug or something. I don't know.
True. They were like, hey.
Of course, I was doing that after the Bills lost.
Yeah.
I was celebrating. I was very excited about that. Very thrilled to not have to see that stupid logo all over my timeline all week.
I know.
The next 2 weeks.
I know.
And be able to walk to the pharmacy without having to walk through in front of Wise Guys Pizza. They had 2 giant flags and 2 giant banners that are right in the middle of the sidewalk.
Obnoxious.
So it's like, okay, I get that your team is doing well, but why the fuck do you got to block my path to the fucking pharmacy about it?
True. Very true.
And it ain't like there's like never people standing in front of the fucking Wise Guys over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Standing out there, the food delivery guy's got no mask on. He's yapping to some guy out front. Like,
Good.
yeah, you're totally making me want to order from this place.
Yeah.
I don't want to order from you anyway, but you're totally making me want to order from you.
So I'm guessing that Laura doesn't have a signal.
I don't know. She was on Twitch last time she said anything, so I don't know. I barely want to finish the show, but we've got all these great artists that we've got lined up on the show.
And an interview.
And the interview.
Yeah.
So, you know, I
Well, why don't we... It's
it is
6:31, so it's time for music, whether Laura says so or not.
All right, so this is, even without internet here, this is Kerry Fey, and this song is called Apocalypse Baby on all WNY ThinkSoJoE Show.
World's ending today, all I can think about is you. How you killed to survive while I would just cry. So you'll probably make it and I probably won't. So maybe I should try to find you. My apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, you're my apocalypse baby. You know I love my freedom, but I miss you tying me up. The way I was so soft while you were so rough. We'd argue all the time and it would suck when we yelled. But I'd spend the night next to you even if it's in hell. My apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, you're my apocalypse baby. You said you'd grab a rifle and you'd head to the mountains. You know how much I hate guns. You're my best chance at survival, so I see. Cause I just wanna get my apocalypse back on you. My apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, you're my apocalypse baby. My apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, my apocalypse baby, you're my apocalypse baby.
All right, we're here with Devin Mullen, another pre-recorded interview here on the ThinkSoJoE Show. And you have questions, so I'll let you question so he can answer.
Yes. So, Devin, you, when the world is open, have your toes in a lot of pools here, it looks like. I see that you are involved in the Gypsy Parlor open mics. You are involved in WNYmusic.com. You're involved with Music is Art. You are Anxious Kids Make Good People. And now you are involved with the Post-Apoc Buffalo Music open mic.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that's a lot.
I'm like a deadly mold spore. You know, I'm just spreading all over the place. You know. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, when the world was open, what were the gypsy? I've only been to Gypsy Parlor one time, and it's just like, have you ever been there, Joe?
No.
It's a really cool atmosphere. What was the open mics like when you were doing those?
I definitely thought it was something really special. It was an eclectic mix of performers from all different genres, and you know, Karina, you've been to the space. It's really kind of a funky, moving atmospheric space. We had a lot of hip hop, a lot of rock, a lot of singer-songwritery kind of stuff, and a lot of poetry.
Very cool. Very cool. How has that crossed over for the Post-Apoc open mics? Are you getting a lot of the same people?
There's definitely some of my previous regulars are in attendance there. Unfortunately, the hip hop element, I don't know if it's because of how it translates in terms of production via streaming.
Yeah.
There's less of that at Post-Apoc.
Right.
Of course, we invite people.
Have you had any poets?
Occasionally.
Cool.
It's predominantly music.
Yeah. Is it mostly singer-songwriter kind of stuff, or do you have like bigger ensembles performing?
We've yet to. When we first started and people were trying to figure out, I think, just how to navigate streaming for music, there were a couple bands like, all right, let's use this as a proving ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. But since then, it's sort of formed this like hardcore, solid base of singer-songwriters looking to hone their craft.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, let's see. Let's look at the other things you do. Music is art. What's your role in that?
So with Music as Art, primarily I work with Michael Shamil, conducting this interview series called the Eighth Note Sessions. And we talk with people involved in the industry at all different levels, and additionally members of the community. And that's part of a podcast. The other thing is we have this subgroup. It's like a pseudo union or artistic collective, if you like, called the Music Industry Alliance, which is kind of a programming and advocacy group for folks in the industry to get better working conditions and put on educational programming.
Excellent. Excellent. And let's see. What is WNY Music? I haven't checked it out. What's WNYmusic.com? Is that a site that you run?
No. That's Ryan Gurnett, I believe, inherited it from the previous owners and relaunched it, I think, last year.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's making it a pretty wide stretched hub for different podcasts, talking to members of the community, doing reviews, DIY tutorials for how to make your own music, and I think his notion on it is it's supposed to be a big community hub.
Excellent. Okay, very cool. Now tell us a little bit about Anxious Kids Make Good People, which is a mouthful of a name. Tell us a little bit about your project and how it got started and what it was up to before the world closed.
So, yeah, Anxious Kids Make Good People is my solo project. Just had our 10th anniversary back in November, and album number 15 come out in early January.
Excellent.
I say it's the music of stark contrast and misanthropy and melody. Basically what I was doing before then was pretty much making my own music, busking, occasionally gigging out, and more or less not trying to get into the whole rat race of marketing and advertising and just creating. Nice.
Very nice. So 15 records in 10 years. Have they been, wow, you've been busy. I'm trying to think of what I've accomplished in 10 years comparatively, and I have like aced a chocolate chip cookie, and that's about it.
well, you guys have a beautiful studio, and you've been running.
Oh, that's all Joe.
Thank
you. So the post-apoc open mics, they've been going on since like the first or second week of the shutdown, haven't they? Like it's going on a year here.
They definitely started out pretty early on in response to that. Yeah. I think maybe April, May.
Okay.
Really.
All right. What have some of the highlights been for the open mic, for you performing at the open mic?
Well, obviously there's a lot of different talent that comes through. So I would miss some of the really good examples of people who have performed there just because, I would say the most remarkable thing about it is the sense of solidarity and community that is formed. A lot of the people who have met through open mic, they may not have ever run in the same circles pre-COVID. And there's a lot of collaborative projects and just really surprisingly solid friendships that have come out of it. Like, I don't know. It's definitely a time where, from my sense, artists are usually the kicked dog in any society.
Right.
You look at a school. What's the first program to go? Well, arts and music, of course.
Absolutely.
And it's sort of just like, oh, we're gonna clutch to survival together, kind of thing, and that's been really inspiring.
Yeah. Everyone is really just surviving as far as the arts right now. What are some of the changes that you have had to make to survive as an artist? Like, do you have a day job that you work? Do you depend only on the arts?
I mean, before then, I kind of had a patchwork career. Before I had really gotten into music at a professional level, I had worked as an audio engineer for live theater, kind of as a journeyman. I'd get flown out to different cities to set up their sound systems and run that at different locales across the country. No, I don't have a day job currently. I'm admittedly definitely a child of privilege, and I'm able to dedicate a lot of my time to non-for-profit work and this sort of community outreach. And as far as the artistic animus goes, I think a lot of the conversations that are happening in society maybe are informing a new kind of art, less navel-gazy, ultimately.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. For what do you think, besides the solidarity, what else does the open mic that you're involved in offer to the artists, besides the solidarity and the obvious potential exposure?
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's a creative workshop. So if you are, really hankering just for the experience of having like a captive audience and having that sort of support and applause and kind things said, we really do take all kinds, and it's folks of all different skill levels. So, we have professionals and like quote unquote hobbyists, which is not a term I really like to use when describing
Right.
musicians. It can be a little belittling.
Yeah.
But it's basically a safe space for anyone to really kind of let it hang out and just be real, do away with the superficiality.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very nice. Do you think that your safe space is creating or is bringing out any sides of these artists that maybe wouldn't come out in not so dark times? Art is always affected by society. What are you seeing as effects of like the quarantine, the pandemic, and everything on the arts as you're getting to see them change every week?
So as best I can tell, COVID is really hitting those hardest who are, actively working in the scene. But it serves as a great equalizer for those who are at the bottom, who aren't permitted to enter spaces of performance and aren't permitted to perform for other people, either because of financial incentives or just a sense of confidence in it. So it brings out a lot of different kinds of sides of people. It definitely brings out the sort of resentment potentially, but also a lot of like, wow, I'm actually not that different than someone who has 10,000 followers on Facebook. I'm just as valid. I
Yeah,
think
that's awesome.
That's huge.
Yeah, it really is. What is there like we have pop-ups during our podcast that say like we sell merch, we accept tips. We don't really push it. We don't really
No.
like we would
It comes up on the screen. We might acknowledge it if we see it, but yeah.
But is there any way to send tips to the artists on the open mic?
I mean, if you want to, we don't have that integrated. I run post APOC out of my own pocket. So I wouldn't want to accept any kind of thing for that for myself. And as far as compensating the artists, we usually have links to like all their, if they have them, recordings, places you can buy the records on Bandcamp or their own merch stores. But we try to keep it as non-financially motivated as possible.
Very cool. Very cool. Speaking of financial motivation, what do you think of the live streams that are going on that are being charged for at different levels of production value?
I think in some ways it's survival tactics.
Mhm.
So if that's your main gig, you have to do something.
Right.
And that's an option available. And if you have a fan base, they'll help you out with that. In terms of how viable I think it is long term. I can't imagine that that's going to become the norm. For the simple reason that there's a tactile sensation when you hand someone money and you get a ticket and you give it to somebody and you enter the doorway versus you enter your credit card information and click a link. Like it's very, there's that loss of experience in the whole exchange. And I think that will somehow hinder how much it spreads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think the other part of that is that no matter how well produced the live stream, it's still not the same as going to a venue and seeing a band actually perform live instead of, sitting here watching it on your computer screen.
Yeah, yeah. There's something about having to put on pants to watch the show.
Well, it forces you to stand up and be present and engaged,
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what else was I just going to ask you? It just fell out of my head. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. Your new album. How about that? How about if we talk about your new album?
Yeah, sure.
So it came out the beginning of the month?
That's right.
Okay, what's it called?
Saudade ex empathy.
What does that mean?
So saudade is a Portuguese word that means a kind of melancholic nostalgia. Ex empathy is sort of that I am missing the ability to empathize with certain people.
Interesting. So the title alone gives you plenty to think about. What were you trying to capture? Like this, you put this out after 2020, which was, a dumpster fire of a year, as we all know. So how much did Trump and the political atmosphere and the Black Lives Matter movement and the pandemic and all of these things in 2020, how are these going to show up in this album?
Well, the thing of that is I was covering those things. I released 4 albums from January 16th, 2020 to January 2nd or 3rd, 2020.
I thought I saw a couple of 2020 dates in your Spotify.
Yeah. So Truncheon covered societal violence and Black Lives Matter and all that. Altama covered Trump and the sort of, chicanery and charlatans in politics and all that fun stuff. Saudade ex empathy is, and I mean this a little bit tongue in cheek, but I call it a shitpost album. It's very irreverent. It's that I have a sense people are going to think that the fight's over because Trump's out of office. And, we did it, guys. We survived and we got through. And I very firmly disagree with that. I think, we've maybe put some cotton on the open wound, but we still got to clean it out and wrap it back up and let it heal. And yeah. So it's kind of.
I kind of see a lot of Trump supporters, and they're like, "Oh, well, look what Biden's doing, and he just cost 11,000 jobs on the Keystone Pipeline or whatever." And I'm just like, it's not like we wanted him either. He was just the better of the two.
Right. I think there was a lot less protest abstaining from voting this time around. Like we're all taking a bite of the shit sandwich, and we're gonna try to hold that shit sandwich accountable.
Right.
As much as we can.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like the shit sandwich at least acknowledges that the rules apply to him.
I have to admit, things are looking at the onset a lot better than they were last month.
Hopefully it keeps on.
Me myself, I'm a big Bernie guy, and just him being head of that that budgetary chair position, that actually gives him some power in his wheelhouse to, he's gonna maybe ram Corona aid through because he can do that.
Right.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time.
It is a lot of change. Yes. So, the new album, what song would you like us to play off of the album? Is there anything particular, or you want us to just pick one ourselves?
I usually prefer people to pick their own
Okay.
tunes just because you might find a special resonance in it, if there's
Okay.
any resonance to be found.
Okay. Okay.
Shit post Jesus though, that seems to be a real banger. It's a dance tune with only one lyric. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Sounds promising.
It does.
I can't wait to sit down and listen to it. That's what I'm gonna do when I'm making cookies later tonight.
Yeah, just boogie out everything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's my happy place is dancing in my kitchen. um,
It'd be a nice reprieve from Hanson.
you know what? He loved going to see Hanson.
I did.
And he will
really
tell
did.
you they are amazing musicians.
I thought it was a fantastic show, fantastic musicians, fantastic performance.
Speaking of Hanson, actually, on the Cinder, local punk band was doing a charity drive to benefit Jericho Road Health Center. Excuse me. And it was a live band karaoke. And so I made those guys learn mbop. And I sang along with it. And it is actually being posted today on YouTube. So you guys will be able to find that today, Wednesday.
Right.
Yes, the day that you are hearing this interview, not the day we are recording this interview.
That's marvelous. I'm sure you brought the house down on it.
Yeah. You should have seen Joe's. Joe did the ballroom blitz. He was
Oh my God.
very entertaining. You're gonna have don't bother with the Hanson one. Check out the ballroom blitz when that comes out.
I say the opposite. Don't bother with the ballroom blitz one. Watch it. My voice went like during rehearsal for it, so like I couldn't hit any of the notes in the chorus. I'm like, guys, can you guys just do a gang vocal over that or something for me? Which I believe they did. So
I mean, I would go for the ballroom blitz just because you look like a big guy, and I kind of want to see you be like, "Rah!"
And he was doing the. It was good. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So, you said that you guys, you mentioned that you personally, tended to be more charitable, being that you are actually, a child of privilege. So you tend, like, if there's, profits coming from your music, does that go right back into your music? Do you have causes that you work for?
Oh, I mean, I would not characterize myself as charitable. That's definitely a mischaracterization.
Okay.
I don't have to grind in the way that most people do. That's the privilege. I'm lucky in that way. The music I get, it goes to daily expenses of living. I have a place where I can live rent free, and that's huge.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, my healthcare is taken care of. I don't really need to drive, and I don't have any dependents. So,
Yeah.
You can get by on stuff like that.
Yeah. We are in similarly comfortable situations for different reasons. Joe works his ass off, so I can sit here and make cookies.
A cause I do care about though is the Southern Poverty Law Center. If there was something to donate to, that's they have those fundraisers you can set up for your birthday.
Oh, like the Facebook fundraisers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that was where I directed my last one.
Okay. And what does that tell us just a little bit about that organization?
Yeah, so the Southern Poverty Law Center is a long-running organization which identifies the activities of hate groups throughout the United States, tracks their activities, helps litigate against them, and we live in the era of the Proud Boys and the Three Percenters, so we need work like that.
Yeah. That's very important. That's a great cause.
Mm-hmm.
We are very Antifa, very pro-love, anti-hate here, so we can definitely appreciate that. Let's see. Well, Well, we're coming in on time here,
Got a
so
few minutes.
yeah. I don't know. Is there anything that you want to ask?
So kind of a Sophie's choice with like the Bills game, right? I mean, in terms of like who do you root for now?
You know, I was thinking that same thing last night. This being filmed on Monday and the game happened last night.
Yes.
I was thinking that same thing last night. I personally am a 49ers fan, diehard for life, and really was rooting against the Bills, to be perfectly honest. But the thought had occurred to me, like, do you now root for Tom Brady to avenge that loss to the Chiefs, or do you root for the Chiefs because they're playing Tom Brady? So that's a very interesting question, and I'm sure we'll. I'm just wondering, like, how the ratings are going to be for the Super Bowl in this area with Bills fans having to make that exact choice that you referenced.
I mean, it's really in a lot of ways like the most perfect kind of crappy choice to have to make, given the year. It just feels synced up, in line, more or less correct. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It depends on how much people enjoy suffering.
I had been predicting
It's
for
not happy.
weeks on the show that the Bills would make the Super Bowl only to lose to the Bucks. So you don't have to suffer that fate, at least, if you're a Bills fan, I guess.
Are you a Bills?
I keep posted on it. I mean, you know, I'm not the most athletic guy. I rode in high school, so
Oh,
there you
yeah?
go. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They did not offer that at my school. Where did you live that you were right on water like that?
Well, I actually live on in South Buffalo, and we weren't rowing in Cass Creek. I went to
I would
City
hope
Honors,
not.
so they
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I'd go with an arm out of my back or
Oh
something.
my
Yeah.
gosh. The Simpsons fish.
We live a block away from the creek. We know.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So what did you get out of rowing? Like camaraderie and I don't know, like backaches is what I really think.
Well, yeah, I got a lot of oar handles to the back. I don't know. I think it's definitely a sport that teaches you teamwork in a really big way, because again, if you don't have teamwork, you'll be catching oars to the back, and nobody wants that. Or you'll
Yeah.
be flipped out of the boat or something.
Oh man.
It's interesting because it's a sport that doesn't make you really big and bulky, but you get a lot of like endurance, I guess. I don't know. I'm out of my depth talking athletics. I can pull on something while sitting really well. Really, really well.
So like those row machines at the gym, you got that shit.
Oh my God. I'll kill it.
Excellent. Well, okay, so anxious kids make good people. Yes, anxious kids make good people. That's just you.
Yes.
So what all do you play that you're able to make all of this music by yourself?
Honestly, a guitar is a wonderful bit of kit. You can do rhythm, melody, and percussion on it if you got the right. Like I said, I was educated as an audio engineer and a sound designer.
Right,
So
right.
in terms of the software and hardware level, you can transform it pretty well. And then, you know, I recently picked up Logic in the past year, and their suite of software instruments is just uncanny. It's like we're drifting slowly towards that cybernetic apocalypse. It's too good. It's uncomfortable. I feel like I never
Yeah.
need to worry about hiring a drummer at
Oh
this
man.
point. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
And
We definitely have local bands that have drum tracks and not a drummer. So
Yeah, definitely quite a few.
it's I mean I make no comparison. Like any percussionist worth their salt, any drummer, way better than anything digital. But in terms of like cost and just getting something down quick, I mean it's night and day.
Yeah.
I think a lot of where I write music, it comes more from like a visual and literary perspective. though. So in terms of finding new stuff, I always have new books to read, and I have synesthesia, so my waking hours are kind of strange, and people are very strange. So there's always new commentary to be made.
Interesting.
Yes.
Right. So,
I mean, if you want to, times we probably have enough for
okay.
if you want.
Well, let's see. For your new album, which I am not even going to try to pronounce, would you please pronounce it for us again?
ThinkSoJoE Show.
All right. Is this available Spotify, and what are the platforms that it's available on?
Currently, just Bandcamp.
Just Bandcamp?
May release it on Spotify later, but I'm kind of I got beef with them.
Oh.
They underpay their artists after all. You know.
Yeah, and this is not the time to be screwing over the artist. Okay, so right now just Bandcamp. And tell us what time, because I know your open mic, it overlaps with our show. So we don't know, really what's going on because we always miss it. So what time does it start? What time does it usually wrap up? And how can we get involved if we are a singer-songwriter or poet or, whoever may want to get involved?
Sure. So if you want to just follow it in the abstract, go to Post-APOC Buffalo Music on Facebook. We post our signups on Sundays and Mondays, and then the event proper is on Wednesday. If you're a performer, we have sound check at 7. If you're just a general audience member trying to enjoy the offerings, we start at 8 o'clock, and depending on the size, it runs till 9:30, 10:30 usually.
Great. So you could theoretically,
if you're watching this show, you finish watching this show, and then you hop over there and you
right
catch
over
the entirety of both.
And yeah, you can come back to us after the Post-APOC is done, and we'll be streaming on all the platforms later. So, switch over, go see Post-APOC, and come back to us later. So thank you so much, Devin. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And just so it's not an awkward transition where I come back to a live shot and say it, here's some music from Devin Mullins on LWNY ThinkSoJoE Show.
Thank you so much.
Jesus Why Jesus is fanfic.
All right, Devin Mullen's great interview there.
Yeah, he was really fun to talk to.
I hope you guys got to see it okay if you're
know.
watching live. It looks like we've stabled out in the meantime.
Oh, dear. I hope so.
But if anybody's watching on the recording, there's going to be a quick cut because I need to, like, switch to my other hard drive space to get the rest of this. I don't know. It won't let me change. I can't, like, it won't let me change until I stop streaming. And I can't stop streaming because then we'll lose. I mean, we won't lose everything, but we'll, you know, we won't be online anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
And, yeah. I don't know. This is getting ridiculous. So I download the Spectrum app during the interview.
Yeah.
And just like, okay, you know what? If I download this app, they said if I get this app, I can troubleshoot from the app.
Okay.
And it's like, well, maybe you should pay us before you try to use our... Like, fuck you, dude. I paid you. Why are you yelling at me to pay you instead of, like, trying to help me fix my problem that I had already paid for?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess, like, I can't do shit until the show's over. I'm pretty fucked in that regard, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah. Here we are.
Here we are indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And Reese and Squirrel have made, there's a blanket that I needed 3 blankets one night. I was really cold. I needed 3 blankets, you remember?
Mm-hmm.
And that blanket had to come off, and it's been up against the wall, but the girls thought that it was their new bed, and they have been there ever since. Which I don't mind that. But, like, Reese minds that I'm there. Like, I don't care that she's there. But she's kind of like, listen, this is my bubble. You're a little close.
So Laura says that you're wearing a hat and your dreads are under the hat.
Perhaps.
So your dreads have now become my braids.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you're going to now she's going to get on you about your dreads.
Okay. All right,
Like she gets on me about my braids.
I'm in the mix now.
According to her, I have a bald cap on under this, and then my braids are under the bald cap. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so.
Yeah, okay.
We seem to be okay right now, hopefully, with any luck. I don't know. I am like half tempted to be like, fuck it, we'll do the other half of the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like people are tuned in now. People expect us on Wednesdays. You know, we're trying to build a strong lead in to the post-apoc open mic, which is on right after us. Not on this channel, but on the post-apoc channel.
I believe it's a Zoom. There's a link
Okay.
on the post-apoc group, Buffalo Music group on Facebook.
And you know what happens when you go like this when you're talking into a microphone? Is it?
Listen, I'm fidgeting.
Yes, I've noticed. It's preventing you from speaking into your mic, which means that they only hear you like this, and when you're
Then repeat what I said.
I was too busy making fun of you.
Thanks.
Post-apoc open mic, go look it up. You'll find it. You'll find the link. You'll get there. And that's starts right after the show for those of you that want to watch it. If you want to be a part of it, you sign up earlier in the week. And then you have to be in there at like 7 o'clock, so you miss like an hour of this show.
Yep.
Which, when we're having tech problems like this, is that really a huge loss?
Well, we do have some.
We still have some fantastic
pretty
music
good
coming up.
music
Yeah.
coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it is worth sticking around.
It's definitely worth sticking around if everything's okay. And you know, hopefully if it's not okay, you can catch it on the YouTube stream later. And,
very true.
Yeah, can't make fun of anyone. It's not Scotty Goldman, it's Colt Cabana, the patron saint of wrestling podcasts. That's why he was up there. When I was doing the wrestling podcast, he was watching over us. I don't even know who that is that's demanding to get mod for this channel. Anyway, I don't even know how to do that, to be honest with you. I come on, I do my talk show, I do my game streams, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck a raid is. I think that's something I should be doing, and I don't know what it is. Apparently, you like send your viewers to another channel. I don't know how any of that shit works.
Oh.
Welcome to Twitch. I've been on here for like 2 months, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. You seem to be having fun with it, though.
I was excited last night because I got my summary, and like for the first time, my number of viewers was like above 1. Like my average number of viewers. It's like, holy crap, look, I got like 1.7 viewers average on this show. I don't know what's going on in the chat right now.
I don't either.
I have no idea. Anyway. Yeah, so but yeah, I was like super excited. I'm like, hey, look, people were watching and chatting, and like I hit like 117 chat messages last night.
Good.
Which, you know, some weeks we hit on this show, but I've never done that on the gaming stream.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, hey, people are chatting. What's up with that?
Yeah.
It was like 117. It was like I think I hit 100 like when Yellow Sauce were still in the chat, which was like about halfway through when they left, and then I'm chatting with this other dude that I didn't know, who's, you know, we're just talking about COVID, and we're talking about you know, sports and going to hockey games and stuff, you know, and wanting the world to reopen, but also wanting to be super careful about you know, infecting anyone. And the dude is telling me he just his wife just had a baby, and I'm like, dude, that had to suck during COVID. Like, were you allowed to be in there? He was like, I was allowed to be in there, but I wasn't allowed to leave.
Oh.
I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, when my kid was born, I was at least able to like run across the street to the convenience store or something. You know, I wasn't like stuck in the hospital having to be there.
How long was your ex-wife in labor?
It wasn't long. Like once she went into labor, it wasn't long before she had a C-section. So it wasn't long like before that. It was just, you know, like in all the visits leading up to that, if they were taking a while to see her or whatever, I could go grab a snack or whatever. Okay. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, it's cool that you were able to be there. Yeah. It sucks you weren't able to leave, but it's cool that you were able to be there. You know, it's definitely someplace that you would want to be. It's not like you're trying to escape or anything. You know? like it's not like you're trying to escape, but like if you're hungry, you got to go to the hospital cafeteria. I guess. I don't know. You can't leave.
Yeah.
You leave, you can't come back. And you got quarantine and all that. Like, yeah. Like, this has got to suck for doing anything right now. You know? So, I don't know. Like even like incidental music, you still got to separate 6 feet. You can't stand up at your tables and all that. And so, like, who wants to do that?
Right.
I mean, like, maybe if I went to see a country artist or something, you know, I'd sit there at a table and be like, yeah, this is pretty chill.
Yeah.
But, like, if I'm going to see a punk band,
right.
I don't want to sit on I don't want to sit at a table, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Leave the room. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
Laura, what are you doing?
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if he could leave the room, honestly. Like, I don't know if he had to like stay in the room and they brought him food and shit. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was with that. If he could like leave and go to the, cafeteria or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's gotta suck. I mean, like, you gotta feel bad for the people who, I don't know. I don't know if he could leave the room. That now that you mention it, I don't know. I didn't ask. You got to feel bad for people who, like, you know, they had elderly parents or grandparents or whatever in the hospital, and they couldn't go see them. Like me, my grandmother was in the hospital. I couldn't go.
Right.
Because they were like severely limiting the number of people by that point who could go. And it's like, well, I'd rather my uncle and my mom be able to go than me, because that's their mother,
Right.
you know. But like, you gotta feel bad for like people who were planning big weddings over the course of the last year. Like, you know, we're not huge wedding people or you know, fans of the idea of marriage in general. In a sense of we already know we're not getting married.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you got to feel bad for these people who had these big wedding plans, and they're like, oh, you know, and now they still want to get married, but what do you do? You can't have your big wedding you wanted. You can't have all these people at your wedding. Do you just go to the justice of the peace and do that? And now you don't have this big, you know, I don't want to say epic.
Right.
You don't have this big moment of all your friends and family are there and getting to witness this, and you have that big dream, you know, end of Shrek wedding.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, some little girls start planning their wedding and their family when they're like 5 years old. You know, like it's such a big deal to some people.
Yeah. But I mean, then that had to suck. I mean, and, you know, and then there's me who's just like, fuck, I really want to go see Guns N' Roses. Right. And now I like with Fauci saying like it might be fall before concerts. And this Guns N' Roses show is like set for you know, it's been rescheduled for this July. So now it's like, we're cutting it close again. Like, do I get to go see Guns N' Roses this summer? And we missed Rancid last year and all that. So this guy in the chat, Joe Rogaine.
Okay.
He's the guy I was talking to last night.
Okay.
So we were just mentioning our conversation last night about the hospital, and the question came up in the chat. They were wondering if you were able to leave the room, or if it was the hotel you weren't allowed to leave.
The hospital.
The hospital, yes. Sorry, I worked in hotels for 20 years. Well, not 20, but 15.
Yeah.
Whatever. Almost 20. I worked in hotels too long.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so, yeah. No, I mean, I've been married twice, so I was never totally against the idea of marriage. It just never worked for me. So when we got together, one of my best friends and one of her best friends, same guy, he says he couldn't leave the hospital room for 36 hours, he says.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So anyway, but our friend Brian, who used to co-host this show, he says, so you guys are never allowed to get married because you're bad at engagements and I'm bad at marriages. So we could be together forever. We're just not allowed to get married.
That's right.
So that's we already established we're not ever getting married. We're just content in living like a married couple, basically.
We're just here living in sin.
Yeah, basically. So I'm just keeping an eye on that hard drive there. I just it should hold out for another 40 minutes. I think it should be fine. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully I can go see Guns N' Roses. Hopefully Rancid reschedules and we could go see Rancid.
Yeah.
Which I was just listening to Rancid earlier.
Yes, you were.
I kind of got up and I'm like, you know what I want to do? I'm going to throw on Let Go or Let's Go or what is it called? Let's Go, the album. I don't know. I have it on 10-inch and I'm like, man, I really wish I would have got this on 12-inch because I don't like the 10-inch pressing. So, I don't know. And then I hit random and I played The Pretty Reckless.
Yeah, yeah, I thought I heard that.
Yeah. I played like 3/4 of the Pretty Reckless album, and then I'm like, I want to watch these YouTube videos now, because I got on Twitter, and Company Man's like, you guys probably never heard of this company I'm going to talk about. And it was Montgomery Ward. Do you remember Montgomery Ward?
I do.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was a Montgomery Ward like attached to the Lockport Mall.
Indeed, there was.
It wasn't like you couldn't get to it from the inside of the Lockport Mall. Am I wrong about this?
I can't remember because it was really, really long ago. But there's like the plus sign in the Lockport Mall.
Yeah.
And there's a big store at each end.
Okay.
And you could get to them from the mall, but I don't know.
I remember being able to go to Hills from inside the mall.
Yep. And when we were high school mall rats, we would go to the snack shop in Hills. It was we just get roller dogs and like popcorn. It was delightful.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Hills was the best. Hills was where the toys were.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's true. But then there's like J.C. Penney, Bonton. Oh, and then the exit.
So I'm on. So I watched this video about Montgomery Ward from Company Man on YouTube. One of my favorite channels. I never miss an episode.
Yes.
Who you always call the Kmart guy
because he talks about Kmart.
Oh, the first time when I worked for Kmart for a day, I mentioned him to you, and you've called him the Kmart guy ever since.
Indeed.
But I was watching his video about Montgomery Ward, and he's like, "Oh, most of my viewers probably never even heard of this place." And I jumped in the comments. I said, "Man, I distinctly remember when I was a kid, there was a Montgomery Ward sign on this mall I used to go to." And I don't remember if I've ever been in the store. I don't remember if I've gotten into the if there was like an entrance inside the mall to get in there. But I remember seeing the sign on the end of the mall, and I don't think I ever knew what Montgomery Ward was.
Yeah.
So apparently it was like a department store.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I said the only thing I really remember about this mall is that there was a Hills department store in the mall. And they had a huge freaking arcade, an Aladdin's Castle that was just like huge. It was
great.
It was like 4 times the size of the one at the Summit Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always, and of course me being the guy who loves to go to arcades back in the day, and that's the only reason I would want to go to a mall. That was like the best arcade was the Lockport Mall, maybe behind Galleria.
Yeah, well, Galleria, I mean, it's a real mall.
Right.
Like, there's a real movie theater, and there's real stores.
I don't know, Eastern Hills Mall used to have a really good arcade. Eastern Hills Mall used to be a really good mall.
I don't remember the arcade.
Eastern Hills Mall used to be a really good mall. Now it's like, it's almost like the Dirt Mall in Mallrats now, except it's not, like, because it is indoors, and like, for a while, they had a Dave & Buster's before it moved to the Galleria.
Yeah.
So.
I enjoyed Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
And I'm now about to go to the Galleria to enjoy some more Dave & Buster's.
The first time I ever went to Dave & Buster's, I was with my second wife.
Okay.
And we were having problems.
Okay.
And I was miserable. And the only
that's a shame.
the only thing I wanted to do, it was for my birthday too. I just wanted to watch the Sabres game. And I think that's what I ended up doing. We ordered food and I sat there. No, actually, we didn't even get food there because it was back when it was at the Eastern Hills Mall. And they were like, "Oh, it's a 45-minute wait." And we're like, "Well, we're hungry now." So we went to like one of the terrible generic fast food places that's now in their food court.
Yeah.
and ate there before we went back to play games at Dave & Buster's, and I'm just miserable.
Yeah.
Just miserable. So, I've taken Madison there a couple of times. She's, she has fun there.
Yeah.
But the last time I took her there, it was, there was a Groupon deal where it's like, you pay $20 and you get unlimited play on the, the games are different colors. So there's like a green and a red and a yellow or something. I don't know. But you get unlimited time for like 2 or 3 hours on the one color, which was not the ones where you could win tickets or anything. So it was all the like just regular video games. And so I bought her that, and I think I bought myself that, and after like 20 minutes, I also bought her like, tokens so she could play the other, the other games. After like 20 minutes, she's like, "I'm ready to go." Like, are you kidding?
You have hours.
Like, I don't think I've gotten my money's worth out of this yet.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go to the prize area there, and I'll pick out my prizes and we'll go. Like, okay. This might have been not last year, but the year before, the last time that we were able to go for her birthday. And then we wandered the mall, and I always give her a budget she can spend. And then she was like, "Can we go to Target?" Like, okay, yeah, sure. And Target's like a walk away from the mall, like a couple of blocks. It's not far, but it's still like awkward to get to. So it's like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Let's go to Target. Let's go to the pet store and all that. So that's what we did. We went over to the craft store. She wanted to really go to the craft store. She wanted to get some yarn and stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I could have gotten like $100 budget to just go wherever I wanted when I was her age.
Fuck yeah.
You know, like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's go to Toys R Us. You can't even do that.
I know.
Yeah. I watched a video the other day. It was about, it was a channel. There's a channel called Defunctland, which usually does a lot of videos about like Disney and like Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
And like old rides at Disneyland, stuff like that. But they also do like other, you know, related kind of subjects to like people who would be interested in that. And for me, they did one for Toys R Us Times Square.
Oh.
And because I don't live in Canada where they still have Toys R Us's. Anyway, that's why I can't, Laura. Anyway, so we go to so he does this video about the history of Toys R Us Times Square.
Okay.
And I had been to Toys R Us Times Square. The first time I was ever in New York, I was actually talking to that Joe Rogan guy last night when he was in my chat. I was telling him about, you know, living in Buffalo and people being like, oh, how far to the, you know, you must go to New York City all the time because you live in New York State, and they don't realize it's 200 miles away.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever went to New York, I accidentally ended up in New York.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so the story.
The story.
You know what? Let's go to a song break.
Okay.
And then I'll come back and I'll tell the story of how I ended up in New York.
Okay.
Okay. This is Farrow, and this song is called The Creek on All WNY ThinkSoJoE Show. Any second now. Here it comes. Okay, that was Farrow, the song called The Creek on all WNY Think So Joe Show.
Excellent.
Anyway, so New York City.
Okay, yes. How did you find yourself in New York City?
So I was single at the time. And I was on MySpace, I think, at the time.
Okay.
And I started talking to this girl in New Jersey.
Okay.
And shout out to our New Jersey listeners. Who are probably not listening right now because we got booted from YouTube earlier. But
Right.
anyway. So I'm like, talking to her and we're like, oh yeah, let's, let's meet up. I'll come to you. And, cause I never really traveled much before that, so other than like my trip to Seattle,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, yeah, I'll come down there. What's up? Where should I go? And she says, oh, just come to Philly. Cause I live near Philadelphia, like just over, just across the Jersey PA border. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll come. We can hang out. That's cool. So like as I'm getting ready to like go and I've got my bus ticket and everything and it's non-refundable bus ticket. And she's like, oh, my mom found out you were coming and she's yelling at me like, you can't meet some dude off the internet, blah, 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 blah.
And she's absolutely right.
Yeah.
At that time.
We were in our 20s, both of us. So, I mean, and so I'm like, okay, well, that really sucks. What the hell am I going to do with this bus ticket now? So I got Greyhound to actually change it so I could go. I had a friend who was living in Connecticut at the time. She was going to the culinary school there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the same girl. You remember I was telling the story last week of my friend came over and said, honey, why's your MySpace profile? Yeah. It was the girl that I was trying to get to leave me alone. But she was staying in Connecticut. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to come visit you because I got to go somewhere.
Right.
And she's like, oh, cool. Yeah, come visit. So my first stop on the trip was New York City. And it wasn't a long time that I was going to be in New York. It was maybe like an hour or two. And I just kind of was like, well, I'm in New York. I've never been to New York. Let me explore New York. And so I get off the bus and I go up. You get to what is it, Grand Central Station there or something or whatever. Port Authority.
Oh, okay.
Port Authority Station. And so it's like, okay, let me get out of here, get some fresh air, and see what New York City's like. The first thing I did when I got to New York is I went to a New York Yankees store. And right across the street from that New York Yankees store, there was another New York Yankees store. And I called my mom. I said, Mom, guess where I am? And she said, oh, I don't know where. You're at home, I'd imagine. Like, no, I'm in New York, in a New York Yankees store across the street from another New York Yankees store because my mom loves the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I gotta send her a picture from this book I got. I'll show the book after I tell the story.
Yeah.
But did I already show the book?
No.
I think I already showed the book.
No, you showed it to me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll show the book then. Anyway, but anyway, so my mom, of course, her extent of knowledge of New York City is that it's super dangerous and you should never go there. And she's like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, Mom, I just had a layover in New York, or whatever you call it when you're on a bus trip, right? And she's like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, I'm here to, I just figured I'd look around the city. I'm not going much further than this. But like Port Authority is like right in Times Square.
Okay.
So like you could see all these great, all these big buildings with the big digital displays and all that stuff that you would see, going to, just watching things that take place in New York City,
Okay.
And I saw the Toys R Us. I didn't go there. I think I walked by it and I walked back by it on my way back. But because I was, my whole outlook on New York at the time was like, man, this is a dangerous city. I shouldn't be out here. Having been back several times, I do not fear New York City that much anymore. Okay. But I was like, I was like super nervous. So I just went back and I caught my bus to my bus actually dropped me off in Springfield, Massachusetts.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
So I got picked up and we went back to the college, and I stayed at the college for a couple of days. She wasn't supposed to have me there. But I was there for a couple of days and got to meet her roommates and all that shit. And
Yeah.
finally, like the day it was time to leave, I'm like, hey, can you, the other thing to note here is that every single bus I was on this trip on the way there was not the bus I was supposed to be on.
Oh.
Because I was like, hey, can I catch this earlier bus? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? As long as there's room, you can catch this earlier bus. And I did that the whole trip to New York. And then I think I caught an earlier bus to Springfield. So the next day, I'm like, guys, can you maybe bring me to the bus station like an hour early? I want to kind of hang out in New York if I can.
Yeah.
And so they brought me an hour early, and sure enough, Greyhound's like, yeah, sure, hop on. And so I got, so the entire trip, I was not on the bus I was supposed to be on until like the last bus, the bus back to Buffalo. So when I got there, I'm like, I am making it a point. I'm going to Toys R Us Times Square.
Okay.
And Toys R Us Times Square was just 4 floors, giant Ferris wheel, which was like the selling point. And just like there was a whole Lego area, there was a whole video game area, there was a whole WWF area.
Oh my God.
That's the closest I ever got to going to WWF New York, Laura, to answer your question. Anyway, which is now apparently a Hard Rock Cafe, the WWF New York. So and I didn't have much money. So I bought Madison a Jeffrey the Giraffe dressed up like the Statue of Liberty.
Cute.
And it's got the Ferris wheel on the tag.
Yeah.
Like the tag has Toys R Us Times Square and a drawing of the Ferris wheel. And I got my mom, like, I think a Yankees Beanie Baby or something from there. And like that was the extent of it. And so when I was back there to be in Uptown Art, the movie that I still don't know when the hell, if she's
may
even
or
still,
may not.
even if she's even if they're even still working on it,
Yeah.
honestly, at this point. But when I went to go film Uptown Art, I was like, I had it all day to kill. Like I went with my friend Shannon, and she went to New Jersey to see this dude. She was like trying to, she was like, she really liked this dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to say she was trying to hook up with him. I'm trying to say like she wanted to like be his girlfriend. So like she went to this wrestling because he was a wrestler. He was wrestling that night. So we went to Jersey. He picked her up because the plan was we were going to go get dinner and I was going to get dropped back off so I could catch the train back to New York. Well, he's like, well, we don't got time to grab dinner. I got to get straight to the venue. So he picks her up. I hop a train back to New York, and then I'm wandering around New York City by myself with nothing to do. So I'm like, where is Toys R Us Times Square? And that's when I found out it was closed.
Oh.
It was no longer there. Apparently now it is a Gap, an Old Navy, and a McDonald's. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. So I was kind of I was pretty bummed about that, honestly. That it
But
was,
they still have what is that?
no,
FW
they
shorts?
don't.
They don't?
No, because
I've
Toys.
been in that one.
Have you? I have not been to FAO Schwartz.
FAO Shorts, that's what it is.
FAO Schwartz was bought out by Toys R Us, and Toys R Us no longer exists in the U.S.
So there's no toy stores?
There's a Lego store now.
That's
which
very cool.
the
but
Lego store was
that's
pretty cool.
Not going to help with stuffed animals and...
But I mean, I sent you pictures when I was in New York of being in front of a giant stuffed animal.
Yeah,
in
you
a
did.
store that sold stuffed animals. You can pretty much buy everything that you could buy. I mean, I don't want to say everything you could buy at Toys R Us Times Square throughout the city in specialty stores, but they have specialty stores all throughout the city. I mean, like, I came home with a couple of Funko Pops from Midtown Comics the last time I went. But yeah, it's, but they have like the Lego store, and they have a bunch of like specialty like stuffed animal stores. And they have an NHL store, which I have still not bought anything from.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time I will try to get a jersey or something, or maybe a puck. I saw a gritty puck and I didn't buy it. And you're like, why didn't you buy the gritty puck? I'm like, because Philadelphia.
But gritty.
Yeah. I got a buddy in Toronto who's a Flyers fan. He said one of his goals over the next couple of years is to go see the Flyers play either in Buffalo or Philadelphia. I said, dude, if you're coming to Buffalo, I will gladly go to a game with you.
That would be very cool.
I would gladly go to a game in Philly with them if they're playing the Sabres.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, get to see Gritty, and
Oh my gosh, I would be so excited.
then I could buy a puck straight from the arena like I did with Carlton, the Leafs mascot. I didn't do that with Thunderbug or whatever the fuck his name. No, that's the Tampa Bay one. Stinger. Stinger, is that the fuck? I can't think of the fucking name of the mascot for the Blue Jackets.
Oh.
I want to say it's Stinger, but I don't think that's right. I guess I can look that up. I'm not going to look it up on the computer because I don't want to take up any internet.
Yeah, I really miss hockey games. I don't care about sports, but I miss being around people who are excited about like the same thing. Like, even though I could give a shit about sports, it is like a unifying force, and that's pretty cool. It's just kind of barbaric.
I was right. His name's Stinger.
Stinger. What's he look like? I want to see.
Oh, hold on. Let me find you. He's just this terrible looking. No, he's a bee.
Oh.
Oh, hold on.
Stingray would be better.
It's not showing me the.
It's showing you cars.
It's showing me cars. This is Stinger.
Oh my God, he's ugly.
Yeah, if you don't know what Stinger looks like, I don't know if that's gonna focus.
Get us out of there.
Yeah, that's what Stinger looks like. So I got to see him when I was in Columbus, and
Was he cool?
I mean, he did mascot stuff.
Did he do special mascot stuff like Sabretooth? I
mean, he played guitar, and I don't know if he rappelled down from the rafters that night, but I'm sure he does that like Sabretooth does from time to time. Yeah. But they have in Columbus, when the Blue Jackets score a goal, they have a cannon that goes off.
Oh.
And going to this game, I'm like, I don't know when after the goal the cannon goes off. Mm-hmm. I don't know how loud this thing is. So I'm like paranoid that I'm just going to jump when this thing goes off. So I correctly anticipated that it would shoot off before the game. Mm-hmm. So I was like already covering my ears. I'm like, I don't know how loud this thing is. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And because I'm covering my ears, I still don't know how loud the thing is for if they were to score a goal that night. Luckily, Buffalo won 4-0. I actually had a call from the Columbus Blue Jackets ticket office after that season. And the girl says, hey, I'm so-and-so from the Columbus Blue Jackets. No, you know what? It was a guy that time. I've also had a female rep from the Blue Jackets contact me, but it was a dude the first time, and he calls and he says, hey, so I'm just wondering what your relationship is with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I'm like, well, I went to Nationwide Arena to see the Sabres beat them 4-0. And he goes, oh, you went to that game. I said, well, if it makes you feel any better, I also went to the next game between the two at KeyBank Center here where Columbus won. So if it makes you feel any better about that 4-0 loss.
Yeah.
Where David Legwan scored from his own end. That was beautiful. Nobody was paying attention to that. That was fun. Because the Sabres are killing a power play. They're killing a penalty. So they're down on the other end of the ice. And Legwan gets the puck and he flips it down the ice. And that's just, okay, well, Columbus has got to come back down and get the puck. So everybody pulls out their phones. They're all looking at their phones, except for me. I'm still watching. I'm watching this puck bounce right behind the Columbus goaltender into the net. And I'm like, he scored! And people are like, what just happened? So Legwan fired the puck down the ice. It bounced past your goaltender. It's 2-0 or 3-0, whatever the score ended up being. The next day I saw the highlight on SportsCenter waiting for my bus home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I like going to road games. I miss home games. I miss gatherings in general.
I know.
My landlady yesterday, our landlady, she said to me, I said, oh, hey, I saw her. I said, how you doing? She said, oh, I'm just, sick of work. I'm like, yeah, I'm sick of COVID. And then I'm like, I need to rephrase that. Like, I'm not sick with COVID. I'm sick of the pandemic. Because of COVID. Thing you clarified. Like, I don't want to say that I'm sick with, like, I don't want to imply that I'm sick with COVID because I'm not. Yeah. I want to make sure that I articulate that I am sick of this virus and this pandemic and not being able to do anything. Like, You know, but yeah, I miss gatherings in general, especially Sabres games right now, watching them at home and, you know, getting to hear the organ play and like hear the like they have the announcer still there and he's making these announcements and I'm like, who are you announcing to? We can't hear you over the TV announcers who are, actually, I don't know if the TV announcers are at home. I know, well, they're not at home. They're in the arena. So I don't know for home games if RJ's there and he's calling the games from the booth or whatever. But I know the road games they've had Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray like in the studio in Amherst, calling the games. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, but just I miss actually being at sporting events and things like that. You know what I meant, Laura. She's always trying to turn my words around. Like, you don't drink? Not even water?
He doesn't drink water. He only drinks Pepsi.
Not
sponsored.
That may be true. I don't know.
May or may not.
Not sponsored. Anyway.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that was the story of me in a roundabout way, me going to New York City, and it's just the first, all 3 times I've been to New York now. I really want to go back. I really miss New York City.
I would really like to go to New York City with you.
I would like that.
You have mentioned before that you want to go at Christmas time.
I absolutely want to go at Christmas time. I just, when we were there for the convention in 2019, we were at the Lego store, which is in Rockefeller Center.
Okay.
And I mentioned to Scott, like, oh man, I really want to come back here and see the tree, you know, in Rockefeller Center. And he said, oh yeah, it's right. It goes up right over there. I'll show you. And so we walk over and there's actually like a spot like marked off on the ground where the tree goes.
Oh, I thought it was like a tree that lived there.
No. They get like a really nice, really big tree and they install it there.
Where on earth do they find it?
I don't know, but
they're cutting down the fucking.
But they do it in like mid-December.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at like when I could go, it was like literally like December 12th through like Christmas, and I'm like, can't really do that. You know, I can't really just plan my. I couldn't really plan my time around that. So now maybe next year, maybe this year if it's safe.
Right.
Because I would really like to go to New York in you know, around Christmas time just to see New York decorated like that, like Home Alone, you know.
Yeah, that's really what it is Home Alone.
I actually when I was there for the movie, I kind of got myself lost in Central Park. And I was trying like hell to conserve my battery on my phone. So I was trying not to use my battery. So I was trying not to use my phone too much to find my way out. Because I didn't know if I was going to get a chance to charge or not before I was back on the bus. And I needed to also be able to, if Shannon needed to get a hold of me because we were traveling home together.
Oh.
So I'm in Times Square and I took a picture and I'm like, hey, wait a second. Isn't this where they catch the sticky bandits at the end of Home Alone 2?
Oh, man.
And somebody commented and said, yeah, I think it is actually. So, you know, it was nice to see like some of these,
really cool.
some of the, like be able to recognize some of these things from when I was in, from Home Alone, you know, from like movies I've watched. You know?
Yeah.
I found the Empire State Building. I didn't go in the Empire State Building, but have you ever watched How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
Okay, so you know Ted Mosby, he was like, he would always give Empire State Building fun fact number whatever, right?
Okay, yeah.
So this girl that I was, you know, like talking to at the time, she was huge into How I Met Your Mother. And so I found the Empire State Building and I just took a picture of the sign outside. I said, Empire State Building fun fact number whatever, you know, random number. I'm here right now.
That's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, you know, I really enjoy my New York trips. You know, Central Park was beautiful, even though I got kind of lost. And I'm like trying to get out of there before it gets like dark.
Oh, yeah.
So that I can actually see where I'm going. But yeah, I finally ended up finding my way out. But I had a map and everything. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they gave me a map, and I'm just like, okay, where am I now? The one thing I really wanted to do was see Strawberry Fields.
I would like to. Did you get to?
I did. Because what happened was I asked, you go and there's like little booths around the perimeter where you can get maps and whatever. And if they're manned, you can ask for a map. So there was a guy, actually, I don't think it was manned. I think there was a guy just wandering around that worked there, like a park, I don't know, ranger or whatever, I guess. I don't know. But he goes, hey, can I, I went up to him and said, hey, listen, I'm looking for Strawberry Fields. Can you point me in the right direction? So he hands me a map. And he says, you want to head this way, and you want to turn this way, and you want to go this way, and then this way. And I'm like, okay. There was this lady with her kids right behind me. And she was like, oh, we want to see it too. So we'll find it together. So me and this lady and her 2 kids or whatever, because her kids wanted to see it, we all like took the same path, and we managed to get there, luckily. So
Yeah. What was it like? Because like I don't know.
oh, it was beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, if you've seen pictures of it, you've seen it. But I mean,
I know
it's-
I have, but tell me about it anyway.
I really couldn't, honestly.
well, fine.
But there's like, Strawberry Field, but it just says Imagine, and it's surrounded by flowers and stuff. Like, and then like there's this Lewis Carroll like statue from like, it's got Alice in Wonderland quotes all around it, and like that was one of the things that like really stood out to me. Just Central Park is beautiful.
Cool.
And I would love to like just go, even just spend a day there, let alone like go to New York City and go to all the stores and see the tree and all that other fun shit that I want to do. But yeah, that was and then where I was filming the movie was in Harlem, and it was right around the corner from the Apollo Theater.
Oh.
And so I'm just this random white dude wandering around, and I'm like trying to take pictures. They got all these little like like kind of like a mini like Hollywood Walk of Fame kind of deal on there. So I'm like I'm just tourist the fuck out at this point. Earlier in the day, my whole goal was like not to look like a tourist.
Yeah.
And then like now I'm in Harlem in the dead of the night at like 11:30 at night, just taking pictures of all the shit at the Apollo Theater. And these 2 ladies, like, I'm like kind of in their way. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. No, baby, it's okay. It's okay. Like, so it's like, okay, cool. I just like historic landmark.
Yeah.
I've never been to this part of New York before, so this is cool. So I'm like, I got to take all these pictures. I have to like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of them came out any good, but
You tried.
yeah. Laura says move to New York. I gotta wrap this up quickly, but Laura says move to New York. I had actually asked Madison how she would feel about me moving to New Jersey, just outside of New York, so that I could like bus into New York and hopefully meet up with agencies and things like that for voiceover. And I'm like, you would basically spend school time here, come to New York with me. During the summer, you come live with me in the summer. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be here with my friends. And so I was like, okay,
Can't blame her.
ain't gonna argue with you. You say no, you're the boss. You win.
Yeah.
So I'm still here in Buffalo, and I not that I don't love Buffalo, but I would have it would have been a nice change of pace to live close to New York anyway.
Right.
But anyway, we gotta go. This is the last song of the day. This is Philip Stephen. And the song is called The Duality of All Things on All WNY ThinkSoJoE Show. And we'll see you next week, hopefully with better internet connection. Give me a second. Here it comes.
Wait, I once said that I would, now I guess that it's clear that I won't. Honey, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. No. Are you tired of the motions? Are you fed up with devotion unrequited? run into the forest with your clothes off, getting naked uninvited. Honey, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. No. Faith, I guess we had it once, now it's more of a fear that we hold. Honey, please don't be afraid. All we give will be returned threefold. Are you up late in the darkness, speaking softly, keeping quiet, begging mercy? Or are you lying on an island, thinking silence is the absence of all worry? Honey, you don't have to wait. I don't have to wait. No. Honey, you don't have to wait. I say you don't have to wait. No, you don't have to wait. I say you don't have to wait. I don't have